Good morning, everyone. This is Melanie from Lightbeam's Treasures. And today we're going to be talking about what was sold on Tuesday, January 5th. Well, an update. I was in a lot of pain yesterday. It hit me really, really bad. I did go to the doctor, and unfortunately, the doctor thinks he won't know because he actually referred me over to a specialist, but he thinks I got a slip disc. So what he did was he gave me steroids, he gave me cortisone, he gave me a painkiller, and he gave me a regimen of having an ibuprofen and to rotate the medicine to try to reduce the swelling because it's at the point where even putting your hands on my back, that area is completely on fire. It's like you can feel the heat generating off the area where the pain is. So there's like a temperature. So he wants to try to get rid of my swelling. He wants to try to ease the pain, and I have to go to a chiropractor and a specialist. But of course, you know how insurance works. You have to get a referral for everything. Got to do this and that. Plus, the most important thing is I got to see how much it's going to cost because what does my insurance cover and what does it not cover? I have really crappy insurance, so we'll see what happens. But I have to laugh. I'll tell you this story. Last night was the first time I took the pills that he gave me, and because originally I just had a general muscle relaxer, but what he gave me was a little bit stronger. I seriously was hallucinating. I was insisting that letters, like gold letters, were popping out of the wall, and I literally was going up to the wall trying to touch. I hate feeling like that. I really do. I laugh about it now, but I really was not in. And my husband kept telling me to go to sleep, go to sleep. And it's like I would be standing in the middle of the room looking all around. He's like, go to bed. And he kept taking my phone away from me because I kept grabbing onto the phone to look at YouTube or something like that. Anyway, let's talk about business. So historically speaking, Tuesdays are my work day. For some reason, I do not know. Well, I do know why, but Tuesday are historically is the worst day. So what I usually do is I supplement it with the auctions that I go to on Tuesday night with Donna. Unfortunately, I was not. I couldn't do it yesterday. I between the pills, the pain. I mean, I literally was doubled over in pain, like leaning against a pillow, crying because it was really hurting. So I skipped out on the auction last night. Went to sleep early. But so I figured tomorrow, like I figured yesterday was going to be a crappy day. Was I wrong? Cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. I ended up selling quite a number of items yesterday, which I'm really, really surprised. I'm very happy with the results for yesterday. I started where my new goal for this year is I want to make at least $150 just on eBay alone. Bear in mind, I do other things. I do outside sales. I do Macari. I have other streams of income. When I talk about sales here, I'm strictly talking about basically eBay or Macari. I don't talk about necessarily the other stuff. But my goal is I want to elevate it up to $150 per day on eBay. And yesterday I did it. Woohoo! I did it on I did it the other day. I missed 2 days and then I did it today. So with the excess from these 2 days, if I popped it on the days where I was below 150, it's still averaging out to 150. So I'm very happy. So I got to keep up the momentum. The secret, and this is what I'm going to tell you, list every day and preferably whatever amount of items you sell. Like if you sell 10 items, be sure to list a minimum of 11 items. I found that out to be a secret. I never used to do that before, but now I'm starting to do it and I'm finding myself that I'm consistently selling. So as long as you're adding one more item, your store will start increasing. Whereas if I sold 10 items and I only add 10 items, then I'm at the same number. So that's a little tidbit. You could try it out on your store. It has been phenomenal from my store. So like I said, if you sell 10 items yesterday, list 11 items today. try that out. I would love to hear if you have any success with that. So let's get to it. Now, yesterday, while I was at home, I was grabbing books because even though DVDs are the easiest, books are the second easiest, and I wanted to try to start introducing other products to my store. And by listing books, it's also rejuvenating all my books because I have a ton of books on eBay that haven't even been touched. So let's start off. This one I listed yesterday, and it sold yesterday. It is a big, heavy book. The Norton Anthology English Literature Volume 2. Now, this is a used book. It is a library copy. Yes, believe it or not, if you're able to get library copies, they still sell. Don't don't push them aside just because they have like lots of stickers. As long as they're in good readable, I mean this is in good condition, has some, but I always put any library books as either good or acceptable. So this one sold for $12. It is a big, heavy, bulky book, but it's only going to cost about $3-4 to ship through media mail. I only do media mail with all my books, unless it's an expensive book. I mean, if I'm shipping out $100 book, I am going to tear that baby up. I'm going to wrap it, box it, do a nice thing, put a nice little bow on it because they deserve. If they're buying a book from me for $100, then yeah, I'm going to give that extra special care. If they're buying books $20 or less, then not necessarily. They're getting wrapped up and sent media mail. The next one is I also posted yesterday. It sold yesterday. It's called Running Critical: The Silent War, Rickover, and General Dynamics by Patrick Tyler. This is about the military-industrial complex in action. Talks about, yeah, it's military. Military books sell. If you see them, get them. This one sold for $10. Then I sold another book, which I listed yesterday. This is Against All Green by Daniela Walker. I will tell you, cookbooks are one of those iffy things. What I've generally noticed is newer cookbooks that just come out will sell. Very old cookbooks will sell. But like cookbooks in between, not. I mean, I know there are some people that swear on cookbooks. Like always get cookbooks, always get. I find like unless it's an original Betty Crocker, that anything else like the anthologies or the yearly ones, they don't sell. I have a bunch of cookbooks, they don't sell. Weight Watches, unless it's like either the brand new one or the really, really old one, they don't sell either. So this one is a grain-free, gluten-free, dairy-free, all types of paleo. Right now, paleo is the big thing. It's almost like back in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, it was Atkins. Then it turned to like a keto. Now it's paleo is the big thing, which technically it all talks about reducing carbs and reducing sugar. So whatever diet you want to follow, I say the basis is all the same. Cut out the breads, cut out the sugar, cut out the carbs, and you'll be fine. All right, this one sold for, what did this sell for? $12. And bear in mind, all these books I got for free. So whatever I sell them for doesn't matter. This is an oldie but goodie. It is The Color Wonderful by Joanne Nicholson and Judy Lewis. This is, I gotta show you this. This is old stuff. I mean, basically, like look at those pictures. That is old. Big hair from the 80s. And basically this talks about how to pick the correct like how to pick the correct clothing to go with your hair and face. And it's specifically for people who like to sew clothing. The problem is with a book like this, it's good for vintage, but it's not necessarily good for like now. I mean, it's not. But for people who like the history of fashion or who like to mix it up and do retro, books like these are great. This particular one sold for $7. Then I sold magazines. Now, story about magazines. I'm starting to get into old issues of magazines because I never realized that they would be so popular. I'm going to say Bolo. Be on the lookout for, because it's not necessarily Woman's Day, Vogue, Redbook, Teen Mag. Those really aren't the big ones to sell. The big ones are the obscure ones. So, like for example, I have RC cars sell great. um, building type ones, popular mechanics, but old versions. They sell great too. Archaeology art ones sell amazing. So I ended up actually, these magazines I bought. Normally I get magazines for free, but these I bought at an estate sale. He had over 200 magazines, and the deal was, I says, how much for all of them? He gave me a deal of $10, which is not too bad. I mean, not. I have been bundling them up in packs of 6 and selling them anywhere from like $13 all the way up to $25. And they have been going. I only have 2 more packs of these, which is great. Very happy about that. So this particular one features the entire year. Oh, actually, no, it's not the entire year. No, it is. I'm sorry. The entire year of 1982. This was a biannual magazine called Archaeology. Came out every other month. This is 6 issues. The full run of 1982. Sold this for $15. So be on the lookout for magazines. Then we get to, you know what, nothing. Oh, before we get to my favorite, I also sold supplements. Be careful when you sell supplements, because technically it depends on what the ingredients inside is. This is strictly calcium and vitamin D, which is fine, but other things you have to be really careful with what the ingredients are before you sell it. So that one actually sold for $8.50. Not bad. Those I get, they're thrown in the big cart baskets that I get. So I go through them. I always check the dates, make sure this one doesn't expire till 2022. So check the dates. Anything that's expired goes right into the garbage. So that's what I do with supplements and stuff like that. Then we get to my favorite, movies. That, you know I do movies. So these were movies I recently put up. I mean, I literally just put them up like 3 days ago, and they're selling. So I'm noticing a trend, and I'm wondering about that, because a lot of people say take your old listings, end them, and then relist them. And I always wonder, does that work? Does that not work? I may start doing that on like the really, really old items, and then just brush it up, because what I've been doing is when things are coming to renew, I will put in item specifics, but I don't necessarily end it. So it's the same auction going over and over and over. I just tweak it a little bit. So I'm wondering if there is a difference between me tweaking an item or me actually ending the item and restarting it as new. That's another test I have to do. So this first one is The Adventures of Marco Polos. And this one sold for $8. This movie I just talked about yesterday. I sold my second copy, which I don't have anymore as of right now. However, I probably may have more of these as I continue to go through the movies. But this is An Early Frost, the first story with Aidan Quinn of the story of AIDS. So it's the first time a movie ever talked about the subject. Because if you remember back then, certain subjects were just totally taboo and controversial. I mean, now we almost take for granted the little bit of things that they considered controversial back then. I mean, just think about the whole thing with like I Love Lucy. They always had separate beds, and I think they were the first one that they joined together in the same bedroom. You know what I mean? You got to think of stupid things like that. Like what husband and wife couple sleep in the same bed? But on TV, if you watch those really old shows, they always slept in different beds. All right. And then the last one, which doesn't have a cover, but this is a dual-sided disc. One side is Voyage to the Bottom Sea. The second side is Fantastic Voyage, and this one sold for $12. Oh, and Early Frost sold for $18. Forgot to mention the price on that one. And then finally, I have one customer that bought 150 pack, 250 packs, and then I have another customer who bought 150 pack. So I made $45 off of this stack, and I took best offer $19 off of this. I know I said $20 was my limit, but you know something? It was an offer for $19. You can have it. So with that, everyone, I did a great day. That was $166.50. How do I feel? I still feel tired. I'm still in pain. I'm definitely loopy. Maybe you can tell I'm loopy this morning. Um, Maybe part of the loopiness is in the morning he's giving me something that gives me energy but releases the pain, and then in the evening he's giving me something that sleeps and dulls the pain, if that makes sense. So I could be slightly hyper because of the morning stuff he's giving me. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm going crazy. That's all I have to say. All right, so everyone have a safe, happy day. It is the 6th, so you know what's happening today. Keep an eye out on what's going on because I think yesterday was a nightmare for those who've been following the election process. And today, I just can't wait to hear what happens when the VP gets up there. That's all I'm going to say. I just want to see what he has to say. Don't take sides. Everybody has their opinion, but like I said, I just can't wait to see it because today is going to be a day in history. So with that, have a great day, everyone. Enjoy. This is Melanie with Lightbeam's Treasures.